Noah Lyles was about to run one of the most unusual races of his career. A rare distance, a dangerous matchup, a small meet with big consequences. Then he stopped it before it started. What happened next changed his entire season. The first answer came when it was announced that Lyles would open his 2026 campaign in an unusual way. Instead of a traditional 60-meter indoor sprint or a straight return to the 100 or 200 meters, he was scheduled to compete in a 300-meter race at the Jimmy Carnes Invitational in Gainesville, Florida. The distance immediately caught attention. The 300 meters is rarely contested at the elite level and almost never used as a season opener by Olympic champions. That decision alone made headlines and sparked debate across the track and field community. For longtime followers of Lyles, the choice carried deeper meaning. The 300 meters is not foreign territory for him. Early in his professional career, he ran one of the fastest indoor 300-meter races ever recorded, a performance that announced him as more than just a short sprint specialist. That race showed his ability to combine raw speed with endurance and control, a trait that later became central to his dominance in the 200 meters. Revisiting that distance years later felt symbolic, like a nod to his roots and a reminder of how wide his range truly is. The intrigue only grew when details of the field emerged. Waiting in Gainesville was a top NCAA champion, a rising collegiate star known for aggressive racing and strong finishes. The matchup promised more than just a time on the clock. It offered a generational clash between an established global icon and one of the fastest young talents in the college system. For fans, it felt like a rare opportunity to see elite and emerging worlds collide over a distance that blurs the line between sprinting and speed endurance. As the meet approached, anticipation continued to build. The Jimmy Carnes Invitational is not typically a global headline event, but with Lyles on the entry list, it suddenly carried far more weight. Analysts speculated about what the race could tell us. Would Lyles test his limits early in the year? Would he use the race as a controlled effort rather than an all-out performance? Or was this a sign that he intended to broaden his competitive focus as the season progressed? Then, just as quietly as the excitement had grown, the narrative shifted. When final start lists were released, Noah Lyles was no longer listed in the 300-meter event. He had officially withdrawn from the race. There was no dramatic announcement and no immediate explanation. The race that had promised so much intrigue would go on without its biggest star. For many fans, the scratch came as a surprise. For others, it raised important questions about preparation, strategy, and the realities of managing a championship-level career. At the elite level, race decisions are rarely impulsive. Every start carries physical and psychological cost. Lyles has spent years learning how to peak when it matters most and how to avoid unnecessary risks early in the season. The 300 meters, while exciting, demands a different type of load on the body. It sits in an uncomfortable space between pure sprinting and longer speed work. For an athlete carefully managing training cycles, stepping away from that race can be a sign of discipline rather than hesitation. Shortly after the scratch, clarity began to emerge about his revised plans. Instead of opening outdoors in Florida, Lyles would begin his 2026 season indoors. His focus shifted to the 60 meters, with his opener now set for the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix in Boston later in January. This move aligned more closely with his traditional preparation patterns and with the demands of an Olympic cycle season. The 60 meters may seem brief compared to the drama of a 300-meter duel, but it plays a critical role in elite sprint development. It sharpens starts, reaction time, and acceleration. For Lyles, who has built his success on explosive speed combined with late race dominance, the indoor sprint offers a controlled environment to refine fundamentals without overextending physically. Boston, in particular, is a familiar stage where he has performed well in the past. This change in direction also highlights the difference between spectacle and strategy. Fans naturally gravitate toward rare matchups and unconventional races, but champions are defined by their ability to look beyond short-term excitement. Lyles has never been afraid of bold choices, but he has also shown an understanding of timing. Knowing when not to race can be just as important as knowing when to step on the track. Looking back at his recent seasons helps explain that mindset. Lyles has carried enormous expectations as the face of American sprinting. Each championship brings not only medals, but scrutiny. Injuries, scheduling conflicts, and form fluctuations are magnified when you are the athlete everyone wants to beat. Through it all, he has remained a consistent presence at the top of the sport, adapting his approach without losing his competitive edge. The start of 2026 represents more than just another season. It is another chapter in a career that is already shaping its legacy. Every decision is viewed through the lens of long-term goals. Indoor races are not about collecting wins for their own sake. They are about building toward outdoor dominance, toward championship rounds where fractions of a second separate history from disappointment. The Scratch 300-meter race does not erase the excitement that surrounded it. If anything, it adds another layer to the story. It reminds us that elite athletes operate within complex systems of planning, health, and performance management. What looks like a missed opportunity from the outside may be a carefully calculated step forward behind the scenes. As Lyles prepares to step onto the indoor track in Boston, attention shifts once again. How sharp will he look out of the blocks? How will his form compare to previous seasons? And what signals will this opener send about what is still to come? The answers will not arrive all at once, but each race will provide clues. One thing remains certain. Whether in a rare 300-meter showdown or a short explosive indoor sprint, Noah Lyles continues to shape the conversation around sprinting. His choices generate debate because his performances matter. His season opener may have changed, but the expectations surrounding him have not. The 2026 campaign begins not with a dramatic duel in Florida, but with a calculated return indoors. It is a reminder that greatness is not just about bold moments. It is about knowing when to push, when to pause, and when to let the season unfold on your own terms. That sense of control has been a defining feature of Lyles' rise to the top. From the outside, sprinting looks simple: run fast, win races. But at the elite level, the margins are unforgiving. Training is planned months in advance. Racing schedules are built around recovery windows, travel demands, and long-term performance targets. One poorly timed race can linger in the body far longer than fans realize. Lyles and his team understand this better than most. What often gets overlooked is how much indoor seasons can shape outdoor success. Indoor tracks are tighter, the turns are steeper, the races are shorter, everything happens faster. For sprinters, this environment forces precision. Starts must be clean, transitions must be sharp, there is little room to recover from mistakes. These are the exact qualities that separate medalists from finalists at major championships. By choosing Boston as his opener, Lyles puts himself in a serious racing environment. The New Balance Indoor Grand Prix rewards clean execution, not hype. Strong competition and knowledgeable crowds give instant feedback. A good race shows readiness. A tough one reveals what needs work. There is also a mental side. After reaching the top, staying motivated takes effort. New challenges help, and the original 300-meter plan showed that. Stepping back from it does not remove the idea. It simply delays it. The 300 meters could return later in the season as a progress check instead of an opener. That would make it even more meaningful. There is a lesson here for younger athletes. Long-term success is about choosing the right moments, not chasing every race. Knowing when to say no matters. As the season moves on, every Lyles race will be closely watched. Small details will be analyzed. The canceled Gainesville race becomes part of the story, showing discipline over impulse. In the end, early season choices fade. Results at championships do not. Lyles is not rushing 2026. He is building it carefully,